Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyaha. Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyaha. Kasyapānvaya Sanjatam Narayana Padashritam Srimannarayanam Vande Yatīsvara Shriyājasham Nīrātungasthanagiritati Suptamudbodhya Krishnam Pārārthyam Swam Shrutishatasirasiddhamadhyapayanti Svochishthāyam Srajanigaditam Yābalaat Kritya Bhunte Godatasya Nama Idamidam Bhuya Evastu Bhuyaha. So today we will discuss the 26th Pasuram. மாலே மணிவண்ணா மார்கழி நீராடுவான் மேலையார் சேவனகள் வேண்டுவன கேட்டியேல் ஞாலத்தை எல்லாம் நடுங்க முரல்வன பாலன்ன வண்ணத்து உன் பாஞ்சஜன்யமே போல்வன செங்கங்கள் பொய்பாடையனவே சால பெரும் பயிரையே பல்லாண்டு செய்ப்பாரே கோல விளக்கே கொடியே விதானமே ஆலை நிலையாய் அருளேலோர் எம்பாவாய். So this is the Pasuram. Harini, please go.
So Napine called me. She said she is not available today, so she asked us to sing. So Achyutan will be singing today. I am Pakavadi.
மாலே மணிவண்ணா மார்கழி நீராடுவான் மாலே மணிவண்ணா மார்கழி நீராடுவான் மேலையார் செய்வனங்கள் வேண்டுவன கேட்டியே ஞாலத்தை எல்லாம் நடுங்க முரல்வன பாலன்னவண்ண துன் பாஞ்சஜன்யமே போல்வன சங்கங்கள் போய் பாடுடையனவே சால பெரும் பரையே பல்லாண்டி செய்பாரே சால பெரும் பரையே பல்லாண்டி செய்பாரே கோலவிளக்கே கொடியே விதானமே ஆலி நிலையாய் அருளேலோரெம்பவா. Andal திருவடிகளே சரணம். Ariyan.
Thank you so much. Okay. So we will try to go through the external meaning of this Pasuram. Male Manivanna Margali Neeraduvan. By addressing the Lord as Male, Manivanna, they are addressing the Lord this way, right? By saying Male, they are indicating that he has a lot of love for his refugees, people who have taken shelter of him. He has a lot of infatuation for his refugees. The word Male also means he who is the supreme being, the supreme Lord of all beings. When they are saying Manivanna, Manivanna means he who has the characteristics of a money or a gem, right? He who has the glow of a gem, or he who has the beauty of a gem. So many characteristics of a gem. He who is like a gem, right? The color of a gem, color of a, not any gem. Here it is specifically sapphire, right? That is the color of Krishna, right? So he who has the color of a sapphire, that is the meaning here. Margali Neeraduvan. We have come for instruments needed for performing the vratam of Margali Snanam, right? Then, Melayar Sevanagal Venduvana KTL. Now they are saying Melayar, that means all the elders, the previous generations of people, Purvacharyas, Sevanagal, they all observed this particular vratam, right? Venduvana KTL. Now, what exactly are the instruments needed for this particular vratam? We will tell you if you desire to hear. In other words, they have come to Krishna. Krishna, yesterday we have seen how they have come and they have glorified Krishna, right? And they have come and they have looked at Krishna saying Krishna has come all the way here and all of that. Now Krishna, finally they are trying to tell why they have come, right? That's what they are trying to tell. In other words, they are also trying, in a certain sense, all these Pasurams are sort of concluding Pasurams of Thiruppavai. So they are going to summarize everything that we have learned in the previous Pasurams, right? All the key principles in the previous Pasurams will be summarized here. Now, This is sort of the Upasamharam for Thiruppavai, right, towards the end of Thiruppavai. So here they are going to talk about, all the way through they were talking about the parai, the instruments for which they were going to Krishna, right? In the world, in the view of the external world, they have set out to perform a certain vratam called Margali Vratam, right? And that particular snanam, the purpose of that snanam was to, so that rains would come, right? That there was a certain drought that took over that place, and so they wanted the young girls of Ayar Padi to perform this vratam. So that is the reason why they set out in the eyes of the world. But in their own hearts, they were super clear that they set out actually for attaining Krishna. Right? They had no other goal, no other desire. So the internal meaning of this entire Thiruppavai had been how to attain Krishna. What are the different steps to attain Krishna? Right? So here too, they are going to talk about certain instruments that are needed for attaining him, but in the eyes of the external world, instruments needed for performing that vratam, right? And now they are saying, KTL, we will tell you if you so desire to hear. So they are talking to Krishna apparently. Nyalatte ellam nadunga muralvana. Now what they are saying, Nyalatte ellam means entire earth, entire world. Nadunga muralvana, as if, muralvana, if it resounds, the entire world should nadunga, it should tremble, right? If what resounds, Palanna vannatta un panchajanyame polvana sangangal. They are looking for un panchajanyame polvana sangangal. They are looking for certain conscious sangangal which polvana, which resemble un panchajanyame, the panchajanya of Krishna. They have come to ask, among the different things that they were going to request from Krishna, one of the things that they have requested here is conscious that resemble his panchajanya, right? That is what they have asked for. And of what color should they be? Palanna vannat. They said that their color should resemble the color of milk. They should be as white as the milk. And they also said another characteristic of the conscious. What is it? So first characteristic, it should resemble the panchajanya of Krishna. The second thing they have asked is, it should have the color of milk. It should be as white as the milk, right? And the third thing they said is, if they blow those conches, it should tremble the entire world. The sound coming out of it should tremble the entire world. So these are the characteristics they requested of that particular conch that they were going to ask from Krishna. Then, Poyupadu Udayanave Chala. Now they are asking for certain kinds of drums which are very wide in nature, right? They possess good width. And Perumparaye and big musical instruments. So they are asking for certain drums and musical instruments which are wide enough. This is the other thing that they are asking. Then they are asking for, so first thing is conscious. The second thing is drums which are very wide in nature. The third thing is Pallandisai Pare. Now they are asking for people who are always in the mood of giving auspicious blessings, right? Those who are always in the mood of giving Mangalasasnams. They are looking for such people. Pallandisai Pare, right? Bhagavatas, who are always in that mood of giving blessings, auspicious blessings. That is the third thing that they are looking for. Then Kora Vidakke. Now they are asking for some auspicious wick or lamp. That is the fourth thing that they have asked. Kodiye. Then they have asked for, and also a flag. So they are asking for a flag. That is the fifth one. And Vidaname. They are asking for canopy. Right? That is the sixth one. So these are the six things that they have come to ask from Krishna. What are the six things? First thing is Panchajanya, the conch, right? How should the conch be? It should resemble the conch of, it should resemble Panchajanya. So the conch should be something that resembles the Panchajanya of Lord Krishna, and it should be the color of the milk, and it should also be such that if you blow that conch, it is going to tremble the entire world. So that is the first thing that they have asked for, right? Second, they have asked for wide drums. Third, they have asked for people who are capable of giving auspicious blessings, right? Bhagavatas who are capable of giving auspicious blessings, right? Fourth thing they have asked for was a lamp, an auspicious lamp. Fifth thing they have asked for is a flag. And sixth thing they have asked for is canopy, okay? Some sort of umbrella. So these are the things they have asked. Whom are they asking? Alan Ilayai. They are asking the person who sleeps on the banyan leaf, right? Vatapatrasai is the deity that is being invoked here, right? Alan Ilayai. Arul. So please grace, O person who is sleeping on the banyan leaf, you please grace us with these things. Elor empavai. So this is the vratam that they are trying to talk. Now let us understand what the inner meaning of each of these is, right? First, they are addressing the Lord as Male, someone who has a lot of love for his refugees. Why did they begin that way? Because that was very conspicuous in the form of the Lord. After seeing these people who have come to him, the Lord almost appeared frozen. He was actually, the reason he wasn't coming from inside was that just the fact that so many Bhagavatas have come, taken all the pain to come to him, literally melted his heart. So, with that overwhelming feelings of joy, the Lord was dumbstruck and he was not able to come out of that particular state, right? He was so overjoyed, right? He was overwhelmed with a lot of joy, a lot of parental affection towards his refugees, right? Because of this reason, he didn't speak, he was sort of frozen for a few moments, right? So now, therefore, they are addressing you, this is your nature, my dear Lord, right? How can you hide this nature of yours, right? So that is how they have begun addressing him. You are someone who has a lot of love for someone who has taken shelter of you, right? That is your nature. So that is how they are beginning the prayer, right? Now, Sita Devi also says this in relation to Rama. Vidita sahi dharmagnaha sharanagata vatsalaha. That the Lord is someone who has lot of vatsalyam towards sharanagatas, people who have taken refuge in him. He has lots of vatsalyam, parental affection towards such people. In fact, the Lord is so much infatuated with his devotees that, even when people like Vibhishana and Sugriva, they all came, he accepted all of them as his brothers, as good as his brothers. So the very next moment, that was the first meeting with Vibhishana, immediately said, "You're also like my brother," right? That is how much he wants to accept people. His nature of his saulabhyam in terms of easily, accepting all the people, his vatsalyam in terms of easily accepting all people as his own is being shown here. He gave the position of his own brothers to Vibhishana and Sugriva. He gave the position of a mother to even demons like Putana. He gave the position of a father even to birds like Jatayu. He gave the position of all these very close positions like mother, father, brother, and all these things he has given to all kinds of people without seeing their qualification, right? Doesn't matter whether it's a human or an animal or a bird or anything, right? Doesn't matter whether they are inimical or friendly towards him, but his vatsalyam is just that the fact that they have come to him is sufficient for him. He feels so overjoyed that this jiva who ran away from me millions of births ago has finally come to me. That itself gives him so much joy. Just like, a child who is in a very distant land, if that child returns to the parents again, the parents' face is filled with a lot of joy upon seeing that child, that after a long time, the child has come again, right? In this way, Paramatma feels for us because we have gone from Vaikuntha saying, "I'll just finish my master's and come." But again, that's it. We have settled in US. Never again came back. Right? In that way, we also told Paramatma that I'll just see Prakriti and come. That's it. Again, we never came back. So, Paramatma, therefore, if we finally come to him, he will feel that overwhelming joy. Right? That is the nature that they are describing of Paramatma by saying Male. Now, Paramatma, in fact, who has more love? Whether the Jiva has more love or Paramatma has more love. It is Paramatma alone who has more love. Like most of us know this incident, right? Sita Devi, she conveys to Hanuman to tell Rama that if Rama doesn't come to save me in 30 days, then I'm going to not maintain my life anymore. You please convey this message to Rama. This is what Sita Devi told Hanuman. And Hanuman, as soon as he met Ramachandra, he told the same thing, that Sita Devi said that she cannot maintain herself anymore if you do not come within 30 days. Then Rama immediately said, "Did she say that? Did she say that she could live for 30 days without me? I can't even survive without Sita for a moment," is what Ramachandra said. In other words, Sita Devi is representing the Jivatma and Rama is Paramatma himself, right? The nature of Paramatma is that he cannot survive without the Jivas even for a moment. On the other hand, jivas are much more capable of living in separation from him, right? So this is something that is being shown using that interaction between Sita and Rama, right? Now, it is in fact this infatuation of Paramatma that makes him go to any extent to protect that jiva, right? He took the position of a beggar for the sake of Vamana. He, who is the supreme lord of the entire universe, who actually owns the entire universe, not one universe, he owns several such universes. Several such universes emerge from his body with every breathing that he takes, right? And all those universes go back into his body with every inhalation that with his inspiration and expiration. The Vedas describe that several universes come out of him and several universes go into him. Within such many universes, that means each universe can be perceived to be about the size of a mustard seed. In some place it is given, that description is given, right? Now, if we just imagine, if each universe is of the size of a mustard seed compared to the form of the Lord, within that universe, someone asks and prays to him, saying, protect me. For the sake of such a person, he who is the owner of all the universes, right? The uncontested, unsurpassed, unparalleled, peerless owner of all the universes, he has taken the position of a beggar in the Vamana Avatara, for begging, some pieces of land for the sake of Indra, right? And similarly, he also took the position of a beggar on behalf of Pandavas, right? He went to beg a few pieces of land from Duryodhana, right? So, and he has taken the position of a charioteer for Arjuna. To become a charioteer is not an easy thing, because first of all, a charioteer has to protect the passenger behind. So a lot of times the charioteer gets hit. He is the first line of protection, right? For the passenger who is inside, who is the actual, fighter, right? And the second thing is, many times the charioteer cannot hear because of all the sounds in the battlefield. It is not easy for a charioteer to hear what the passenger is saying. So what the passenger has to do is, using their feet, because the charioteer is down, right, on the horses and so on, this person is standing and fighting. So using their feet, sometimes they have to hit the left shoulder to signal that you take to the left or see the left side or something. Using the right leg, they have to hit on the right shoulder to say that you go in this direction or hit this and so on. So many times the position of a charioteer is such that they have to be hit by the feet of the person who is inside, the passenger. So he has taken, that he became a Pandava Duta, right? The Perumal has become like that. So there is a Divyadesam like that, right? So he has taken such a very materially a very low position, right? In the eyes of all of us, he has taken such a low position. He has taken a low position of a Varaha, a boar, for the sake of Bhudevi. He has taken the position of, a tortoise for the sake of, giving Amrita for the Devas. So in this way, Paramatma has, out of just love for the people who have taken refuge in him, he does not hesitate. And yesterday we learned how, for the sake of us, he has even taken Garbhavasam, right? For the sake of Devaki, who has prayed to him, he has taken even Garbhavasam. So we learned how it is actually very difficult for a baby to be inside the womb, right? But he was willing to take such low positions for the sake of people who have taken refuge in him. So he is actually even more eager for us to be back to him, right? And for the sake of the Gopikas, he appeared in Gokula. And why was he hiding from Kamsa? He was not hiding from Kamsa clearly out of fear of Kamsa, right? The reason he was hiding from Kamsa was because he did not want separation from gopis. As soon as Kamsa would know, he would try to send somebody to bring Krishna, which he eventually did. So he was trying to hide from that so that he could spend as much time with these gopikas as possible. Who are all these gopis? In the previous avatarams, these were the different sages of Dandakaranya, the Vedas themselves, and all great personalities who have finally taken the form of gopikas in Krishna avatar. So in order to give his experience to all of these people who have taken refuge in him in the previous avatarams, he has finally appeared in that form there. So he did not want to separate himself from those people. These are all sadhus. Sadhus are those people in the Gita Bhashyam, in describing Paritranaya Sadhunam Bhagavad Ramanuja describes who a sadhu is. A sadhu is such a person who cannot bear separation from Paramatma even for a moment. That a moment's separation from Paramatma appears like thousands of yugas have gone for such a person. Such a person is a sadhu, is what Bhagavad Ramanuja says. That is how these different devotees were. In their very mature state, they have taken birth as gopis in Vrindavanam. So these are not ordinary people who have taken birth that way, right? So for their sake, Paramatma was willing to give his entire self for their sake. So that is why he has appeared there. So he has a lot of compassion. Now, Paramatma might ask, wait, why are you praising me like this? How do you know I am compassionate? How do you know I have compassion? Right? Now, to that, they are saying, Manivanna, because your very form tells us that you are compassionate. What does the black color of the Lord or the blue color of the Lord indicate? It indicates how much compassion he has. Just like a cloud, when it is not going to shower, it is white in color. But just before it is about to shower, it is filled with darkness, right? The darker the cloud is, that is an indication that it is going to shower that much more profusely, right? So that is what is indicating that Paramatma's color is indicating that he is filled with compassion towards devotees. He wants to protect people. That is his nature. So his very color is declaring what he is, right? Manivanna, in fact, his glory, his beauty is such that it is very attractive. Just like when we see a gem, the glow coming from the gem and the color of the gem attract us to the gem, right? We want to constantly keep looking at the gem, the sapphire, or any gem for that matter. So Paramatma was also very, very attractive to anybody who was looking at him. He was attractive not just to all the citizens of Ayodhya. Rama iti prajanan abhavan katha. Constantly they used to talk about Rama alone. Same is the case with Krishna in Krishna Avatar. Constantly they used to think about Krishna. Constantly they would want to see Krishna because his beauty was like that, right? So he was not attractive to just ordinary people. He was attractive even to people like Ravana, who were Rakshasas. When Ravana saw Rama for the first time, he was mesmerized by Rama's beauty and valor and his ability to fight and all these things. He saw this is the person. He was just mesmerized. So that is how beautiful Rama was. He was beautiful even to people who were sagacious, like sages of the Dandakaranya, right? One would think that sages are people who have given up all these things and they have taken to meditation and so on. Even to such people, he was so attractive to the sages of the Dandakaranya, right? He was attractive even to brahmacharis like Hanuma. He was attractive even to viragis like Shuka Maharshi and Nammalwar, right? So Paramatma is someone who is attractive to everybody. Therefore, he is called Krishna. Krishna means someone who is attractive. He's all attractive. He's all attractive means he's attractive in every sense. And he's attractive to everybody. That is who Paramatma is. Then we are told in the various commentaries that Swami Vedanta Desikan, he describes the different characteristics of a gem, right? In Paduka Sahasram and other places. Apparently, when I looked at different commentaries, none of these commentaries actually, at least the ones that I have in front of me, they did not mention the actual slokam itself, but they all describe different characteristics of gems. There is one slokam that I could locate, that is Prakashaha Stabdataha Rupam, then Adarshatvam, Aratnataha, Prabhutvam cha, Anuta, Sri, Sthiryam, Mardava, Kashtatata. So these are some of the characteristics. Prakashaha, luster or brilliance that gem has. Paramatma also has. He's described as Manivanna. Here he's being compared to a gem, right? The intent of these commentaries here is that Paramatma displays the luster of a gem. So clearly Paramatma's form is also very lustrous in nature, right? Hiranyavarnaha, says the Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. Then his form is very firm and his form has a lot of beauty in it. His form has adarshatvam, that means a lot of reflectiveness. Paramatma's form is very reflective in nature. Then aratnataha, it has absence of flaws, right? This is another thing. Prabhutvam, greatness or prominence. Then anuta, minuteness or subtleness. In other words, just like a gem is very minute or subtle sometimes, Paramatma is also very subtle, because the Upanishads say Anor Aniyam Mahato Mahiyam. So that Prabhutvam and Anuta, both of them are present in him. Greater than the greatest. He is greater than the greatest because the entire universe resides in him. He is Anor Aniyan. He is tinier than the tiniest because he resides inside the Atma, which is the tiniest thing that is known. So right from the microcosm to the macrocosm, Paramatma is present everywhere. So both characteristics are present in him. Shri, he is filled with beauty or auspiciousness. Sthairyam, he has a lot of stability. And Mardava Kashyata, he has both softness and hardness. In other words, when you look at the form like Narasimha Avataram and so on, you see how much a person clearly a lotus petal cannot lift a Govardhana mountain. So for someone to lift a Govardhana mountain, or for someone to fight such wrestlers as Mushtika and Chanura and so on, the person's body should be very firm and strong, right? But Paramatma had such tenderness in him. So it is very interesting that he has very mutually contradictory characteristics in him, right? Then in another commentary, we are told that just like a gem is capable of dispelling fear, just like a gem is capable of bringing glory to the possessor of the gem, just like a gem is indestructible in nature, because you need another gem to cut a gem, right? A diamond has to be cut only using another diamond. Just like a gem is pleasing, just like a gem is bright, Paramatma is also bright. Just like a gem is valuable, Paramatma is also very valuable. He is obviously the most invaluable person in the entire universe. Just like a gem brings prosperity, similarly, meditation on Paramatma brings prosperity. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Srir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruvanitir Matir Mama, says Sanjaya in the Bhagavad Gita. That if you meditate on Paramatma, all prosperity will be there, right? Paramatma is someone who is highly regarded, and Paramatma is someone who needs to be protected very carefully, right? By a bhakta who is practicing bhakti, his devotion has to be very carefully guarded and protected. And Paramatma is also someone who is easily transportable like the gem. Now, in another commentary, we are told that just like a money is very invaluable in nature, and yet you can easily carry it in your back pocket or something like that, even Paramatma, who is Avang Manas Gochara, that means someone who is inaccessible to mind or speech, such a Paramatma could be caught just in the backyards of the gopis who have always carried him behind. In other words, Paramatma who is inaccessible became very accessible, just like an inaccessible or an invaluable gem can easily fit into your back pocket. Similarly, Krishna also, he is such an inaccessible person, an invaluable person, but he could be tied by these gopis in their backyards, right? Then another characteristic of a gem is that he who has very valuable diamonds or gems and so on, they feel like they have life, and if they lose them by any chance, they feel as if their life is gone. Similarly, those who have Paramatma also feel that way. When they are with Paramatma, they feel like they are full of life. The moment they feel separate from Paramatma, they feel as if their life is gone. People like Nammalvar, people like Prahlada, these are all people of this category, where being with Paramatma is what gives them life. Separation from Paramatma, even for a moment, is as if their life is taken away from them, right? Then, just as everyone respects he who has gems or wealth, similarly, everybody respects a Bhagavata in this world, right? He who possesses Paramatma is always respected by everybody. Then, those who know the value of gems, they wear them in their crowns and so on. Like the kings and so on, they understand the value of gems, so they wear them in their crowns. But people who do not understand the value of gems, they may use it to play dice or use it as a weighing stone or something like that, right? They don't know what the value of the thing that they are carrying is. Similarly, those who know the value of Paramatma, they place him on his head, on their head. Those who do not know the value of Paramatma, they do not treat him with any respect. They think he's just a photo, he's just a stone, a big deal, why should we worship him? In this way, they try to think. And another characteristic of a gem is that a gem is not useful to itself, but it is useful only to others. Similarly, Paramatma has no utility for himself. He is meant for others' sake alone. Therefore, Godadevi says, Pararthyam, right? That Paramatma, you are meant for these people's sake, right? That is what Godadevi was telling. You cannot be sleeping on the chest of Nida Devi. You have to wake up and you are meant for the sake of all these people who have come. That is your nature. So in this way, Paramatma is also meant for others. In this way, There are different commentaries that have shown different characteristics of a gem and the resemblance of a gem to Paramatma, therefore justifying the meaning of Manivanna. Margali Neeraduvan. We have come for instruments needed for the Vratam of Margali Snanam. Now, one may get a doubt. What is the duty of a Prapanna? A Prapanna has nothing to do for getting Paramatma, right? Because Prapanna is someone who firmly believes that Paramatma is the means, right? So they don't have to do anything to get Paramatma, because Paramatma himself is the means to take them back to him. So then why do they have to do duties in this world? The purpose of doing duties is twofold: to protect the world and to make sure that the words of Vedas or Smritis and Shrutis do not go in vain. These are the two reasons why a Prapanna also does their duties, as declared in the Vedas. They do not see them as the means for attaining Paramatma. That if I do this, then only I'll get Paramatma. No, they don't have to do anything for getting Paramatma. But they have to do all the duties just like anybody else, so that the world may not be misled, thinking that, if they see it, one person not doing it, everybody else will give up. So to prevent that from happening and to protect the words of Paramatma that Paramatma has written in the Shastram, out of love for Paramatma, actually a Prapanna does his duties too, just like anybody else, right? So a Prapanna does not actually give up actions, but a Prapanna is someone who just gives the feelings behind actions. He performs all his actions as merely Bhagavat Kainkaryam. He does not do anything as a sadhana for obtaining Paramatma. He does only things as Bhagavat Kainkaryam, right? Now, therefore, Krishna here might question these gopikas. Now you all have come here and you are saying you are performing some Margali Vratam, and you are saying that is a Vratam that is to perform rains and so on. I thought you all were here to meet me. Then why are you doing all these things? In this way, Krishna might ask. So therefore, they are trying to justify that externally, the reason we are doing is for the sake of the world. In other words, they are telling Krishna that we are doing only for the sake of our elders. We really want you. By saying so, they are trying to tell that whatever we do is just for the sake of the world, right? It is not for us as a means. As far as our means is concerned, it is you alone, right? Whatever we are doing is for the sake of the world. Just like whatever we are doing, even in this, in terms of this Vratam, is for the sake of the world. It's not for our sake, right? As far as we are concerned, our only activity is meeting you, glorifying you, thinking about you, coming to you. That is what we want. Now, Melayyar Chevanagal Venduvana KTL. Now, they are saying that this is something our previous generations have also observed. Why are they saying this? Because Krishna might ask, what is the pramanam for this vratam? Is it told in the Vedas? Just like, in the Vedas, different vratams are told. Jyotishtomena Swarga Kamo Yajeta. Right? In this way, different vratams. Vrishti Kamo Yajeta. In this way, different, for attaining different phalas told in the Vedas, different practices are prescribed. You perform this and so on. So in this way, Krishna might ask them, what is your pramanam? Do you know any Vedic reference for this vratam? Has anybody done this before? In this way, he might ask them. Because for those desiring liberation, in the Veda, meditation and upasana, these are the things that are told. Like that, has this been told anywhere? In this way, Krishna might ask. Assuming Krishna might ask, they are telling, see, we are innocent gopikas. If you ask us Vedic references, pramanams and so on, we do not know. What we know is the pramanam of our purvacharyas. What we know is the pramanam of our elders. What we know is seeing what is there in Shishtacharam. Shishtacharam means seeing the authority of elders who have previously practiced it. Seeing the authority of, when we say elders, it means the purvacharyas, the bhagavatas, the acharyas and so on. So, dharmagnya samayaha pramanam vedascha, says the Smriti. In other words, the Veda is only a secondary pramanam. It's not a primary pramanam. Primary pramanam for us is seeing that someone has followed it and they have obtained a result. That is the primary pramanam for us, right? Veda, we look at the Veda only for reaffirmation that the Veda also says this, right? But when we look at a certain, in other words, the Veda is the means for us to know anything. But For us, what gives us more confidence is when we see that someone has followed it and they have obtained a certain result. That gives us more faith, right? Then we will actually follow it. So now the Gopikas are saying, we already have that reference. Even in the Ramayana, when Vibhishana came, right, and Sugriva and so on, they were all saying, it may not be a good idea to accept this person. He has just come from the other party and he's actually a Rakshasa. So you never know if he might intend harm to him, harm to you, and so on. Rama, he quotes that, he says that a Sharanagata must be protected under all circumstances. And then he also quotes the words of Kandu Maharshi. Then, after this, he also quotes a Pramanam. That, in other words, he talks about the story of a Kapota, a certain pigeon that has given shelter to a hunter who has come accidentally to its tree, right? The hunter came, the hunter actually shot the other bird, right? It was a twin birds, a pair, husband and wife. One of the birds got shot. The same hunter shot their bird in the morning. And that night it was raining heavily and he got lost. So he apparently happened to come under the shelter of a certain tree where this other partner was on the top of that tree. The partner noticed that it is the same hunter who caused a separation from, its loved one. But the partner also saw that this person came in this rain without knowing where to go. This person has come to my home. He has come to my shelter. How can I not protect such a person? How can I send such person away with hunger? Let me make something from him. In this way it thought, and what it did, it went and tried to search for dry grass somewhere, some dry twigs somewhere in that rain. So we can only imagine how much effort it put to search for dried things and make sure that it doesn't get wet, right? By the time it comes flying in that rain. So it got those twigs, it put them, it somehow managed to lit fire, and it sacrificed itself into that fire so that that hunter could eat meat. In this way, after all, a pigeon actually gave shelter to a person who has, intended harm to the same pigeon, right? Now, how can I not do if even a pigeon does, is what Rama said as Pramanam. In this way, even Rama, he has shown practical evidence. So even we believe in practical evidence. The practical evidence is, we know that previously different, Purvacharyas have done this. Different Acharyas have done this. This practice of observing Margadi Vratam, Margadi Masam, has been there since ancient times in the practices of very Shishtas. That means Pramanika Acharyas and so on. Similarly, if we look at Bhagavatam also mentions about this particular Vratam, right? During the month of Margasisha, one has to observe, one has to cook moong dal along with rice, right? In this way, Bhagavatam also mentions this. So there is Pramanam, right? That is what our Pramanam is. If you ask us, innocent people give Vedic references and so on, we may not be able to give. That is what they are saying. But we have already seen, the Taittiriya Upanishad also says this, that if we have any doubt as far as statements of Veda are concerned, then it is better to look at the conduct of Purvacharyas. So this is how they were also trying to show that that is our proof. Therefore, we have come. Therefore, we have come to request certain, instruments from you. Then they are saying, Venduvana KTL. Now, if you so desire, then we are going to tell you. In other words, if you are willing to hear, we are going to tell you. Why are they saying if you are willing to hear? Will the Lord not be willing to hear their words? The Lord is apparently mesmerized out of that love he has for his devotees. He is like a statue. He is frozen right now. So they are saying, are you there? Can you hear us? If you are willing to hear, we want to say, we want to ask. So that, they are trying to shake him a little bit from his state of being mesmerized. And now they are trying to tell him, what exactly they have come looking for. Now they are telling those different things that we thought, right? The first thing they asked for was conch. And they mentioned 3 characteristics for that conch. What is the first characteristic? It should resemble the Panchajanya. Then they said it should have the whiteness of milk. And then they said it should actually cause the entire world to tremble, right? The nature of Lord's conch, Panchajanya, in the Bhagavad Gita first chapter, we are told, Sa ghosho dhartra rashtranam hridayani vyadarayat. Nabhascha prithvi cheva tumulo abhyu anunadayan, it says. Abhyanunadayan. In other words, the nature of the conch is such that it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. But the same conch did not do anything. It caused auspiciousness and happiness in the hearts of the Pandavas. It's the same conch, the same sound. But that sound caused, it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra, beginning with Duryodhana, and the same sound caused happiness and raised the confidence of the Pandavas. What is the nature of this sound? The sound that causes auspiciousness to one and inauspiciousness to the other. What is the earth that should tremble here? The inner meaning of this is, this conch always represents the Omkaram, right? The nature of Omkaram is such that Omkara, in other words, what does Omkara do? It teaches us the Sheshatva Jnanam. Who do we belong to is what Omkara teaches. Omkara has Akara, Ukara and Makara in it. A, U, Ma. It says that the Jiva indicated by the Makara is Ukara. That means is meant for Paramatma, indicated using Akara alone. That is the meaning of Omkara. That means Jiva is meant for Paramatma alone. That is the meaning of Omkara. Right? So it tells us about Sheshatva Jnanam. Sheshatva Jnanam means it tells us what is the ultimate identity of us. Our identity is that we are meant for Paramatma alone. Now, when we constantly resound this Omkaram, in other words, when we constantly meditate on this meaning, that I am meant for Paramatma alone. I am meant for Paramatma alone. What will that do to all of us? It will tremble the entire world. Here the earth, right? It represents the Prakriti, the body that we externally have. This body is what? Is a residing place for all the vasanas and samskaras associated with Prakriti, all materialistic impressions. Those are all the impressions that should get shaken away completely and they should fall apart. In other words, this Prakriti, which is the cause of our repeated birth in samsaram, should leave us completely. In other words, they are asking for Sheshatva Jnanam. By asking for conch, they are asking for Sheshatva Jnanam that is capable of completely eliminating their connection with Prakriti. That is what they are asking for first. So externally, in the eyes of everybody, they have come to ask for conch. But internally, they are trying to convey to Krishna that we want Sheshatva Jnanam from you first. Because we want to get the knowledge of who we are first. And that knowledge should be such that it should completely shake off our connection with Prakriti. Just like, when we do like this, after taking bath in water and so on, all that water droplets would fall from us, right? Similarly, when we shake ourselves with that jnanam, then all of those things should fall away from us. All connection with Prakriti should drop from us. In that way, you please provide us the Sheshatva Jnanam. Now, they are also saying that this should be like milk. The conch should be like milk. What is the milk? The Upanishads are the cows. The milk is Lord's Swarupa, Rupa, Guna, Vibhutis and all these things that are known from the Upanishads, right? The Pranava or the Omkara that we meditate upon should constantly educate us in these things. In the Lord Swarupa, in other words, we should clearly understand the meaning of that Akaram. That what is that Akaram which is the basis of everything? What is that Narayana Tattvam? What is the Swarupa of that Narayana Tattvam? What is the form of that Narayana Tattvam? Right? And Narayana Tattvam is not a formless Tattvam. Right? Narayana Tattvam has form. Yatte Rupam Kalyana Tamam Tatte Pashyami, says the Vedam. That the Lord has a form which is Kalyana Tamam. That means it is capable of giving us infinite happiness. Kalyana, Kalyanatara, Kalyanatama. Kalyana means Kalyam Anati Prapayati iti Kalyanaha. Kalyam means Sukham. That which gives us happiness is called Kalyana. Kalyana Gunas means Gunas that give us happiness. When we look at those Gunas, they will give us happiness. That is called Kalyana Gunam. Now what is the Vedam saying? It is saying Yatte Rupam Kalyana Tamam Tatte Pashyami. The Lord's form is not Kalyana. It's not Kalyana Tara. It is Kalyana Tamam. Positive degree, comparative degree, superlative degree. That means it is such an auspicious form that the Lord has, which gives us infinite happiness. So that is the form that the Vedas are trying to teach us, that Lord has a form. The Chandogya Upanishad says, Tasya Kapyasam Pundarikam Akshani. He has eyes. That means there is form for him, right? Even Annamacharya says, Nigama, Nigamanta Varnita Manohara Rupa. Right? This is what he says. Nagaraja Dharuda Sri Narayana. He says that this Narayana is described in Nigama, Nigamanta, Varnita Manohara Rupa. He has a very beautiful form that is described in Vedas and Vedantas, says Annamacharya. Right? So this is the nature of the Lord's form that is known in the Vedas. And he has infinite auspicious qualities, gunas, right? Bahavo nrupa kalyana gunaha putrasya santite. Say the citizens of Ayodhya to Dasaratha, your son is filled with many, bahavaha, many auspicious qualities, all of which are giving happiness to us. Therefore, we want your son as our ruler. They say to Dasaratha, right? In this way, this is what we should completely learn about, that tattva which is sustaining everything, that Narayana tattva. All of this we should get educated in. In this way, they are trying to say. And then they are saying that it should be like Panchajanya. What does it mean to be like Panchajanya? The nature of Panchajanya or the Lord's conch is unique in nature. It is something that the Lord holds in his hands. It is something that he blows, and he is the one who gives life to Panchajanya. In other words, our Seshatva Jnanam should be such that we should constantly remember that you are the one who is holding us. You are the one who is filling air in us. Just like he blows air into the conch, he is the one who is blowing air into us. In other words, he is the one who is sustaining all our activities, right? He is the one who is holding us. He is the one who is sustaining all our activities. And the sound ultimately comes from the conch. And whatever result is coming from our bodies, that is also a result of him. In other words, he is the one who is the, owner of us. He is the one who is the maintainer of us. And he is the one who is the enjoyer of the fruit that comes from it. To that extent, our Seshatva Jnanam should go. In that way, you please give this conch called Omkara to us. In other words, give us this Pranava along with Pranavartha, right? The meaning of the Pranava also. This is what they are asking using the conch. Now they are asking for drums. And they are also saying that these drums should be very wide. What is the wideness of the drums? The drums indicate the Namah Padam in the Ashtakshari mantra or in any mantra. What is the Namah Padam? The Namah Padam has to, what does width mean? Something that is wide enough means it is stretching to both ends, right? The Namah Padam is very unique because Namah Padam gives a meaning to the Omkara. Namah Padam also gives a meaning to the Narayanaya, right? When it is combined with the Omkara, it is saying that I am not meant for myself. When the Namah Padam is combined with Narayanaya, it is telling that I am meant for the sake of Paramatma. In other words, these both meanings should resonate in us. Just like we constantly keep beating the drums that we hang in the parai in our chest, that is how constantly this Namah Padam should tell us that I don't belong to myself, I belong to Narayana alone. This is what constantly should resonate in our hearts, right? That is the wearing of parai in the hearts, right? So that is what they are trying to tell. So this is the second thing they are asking for. The first thing is Sheshatva Jnanam. How should that Sheshatva Jnanam be? It should be like milk. That means it should give us full understanding of Paramatma's Swarupa, Rupa, Guna, Vibhutis, and it should tell me that I am meant for his sake. And to what extent it should tell? The second thing, the Parai is telling that constantly it should remind me that I am not meant for myself, I am meant for his sake. In other words, one is telling Sheshatvam, the other one is telling Paratantriyam, right? So both things should be known to us. Next, Pallandisai Pare. We need people or Bhagavatas who constantly give us auspicious blessings. In other words, this is talking about Bhagavata Sahavasam. It is very important to be with Bhagavatas, right? That is in fact much more important than being with Bhagavan himself, because it is the Bhagavatas who constantly remind us of Bhagavan. It is the Bhagavatas who take us all the way to Paramatma. In the Bhagavata Purana, there is a beautiful statement, right? Tulayam alavenapi na swargam na apunarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutashisha. What is a great benediction? What is a greater benediction for an ordinary mortal in this world? Right? Martyanam means for ordinary people in this world. Kim uta asishaha. What is a greater benediction than Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya? The association of those associated with Bhagavan. Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya. The association of those associated with Bhagavan. In other words, the association of Bhagavatas. What is a greater blessing? That means there is no blessing that is greater than getting the association of Bhagavatas in this world. Why? Because it is why Tulayama Lavenapi. It doesn't even match to a fraction of what? Swargam, Apunarbhavam, right? Even if you give Swarga, it doesn't match to. That means if someone is giving you heaven in one hand and association of Bhagavata in another hand, you have to pick association of Bhagavatas, because this is the thing that takes you to Paramatma. So that is what Bhagavata Purana says, right? It cannot be underestimated, right? The association cannot be emphasized sufficiently, right? It is very, very quintessential for a person's progress in spiritual life, association of Bhagavatas. So therefore, they are also asking for that, right? Along with this Sheshatva Jnanam, they are asking for association of Bhagavatas. Then, Kola Vilakke, then they are asking for a lamp, right? An auspicious lamp, right? Parashara Bhattar Swami says this lamp is nothing but Sri Devi, right? Sri Ranga Harmyatala Mangala Deepa Rekham, he says that Lakshmi Devi is that Mangala Deepam, right? Or auspicious wick. In other words, it is Lakshmi Tattvam. When her grace falls on the Jiva may be thinking of upayams in different circumstances. What is the ultimate? Should I do this or that or that or that? Then the Jiva will get enlightened when Lakshmi Kataksham falls on him. That's when the Jiva will enlighten that my upayam is Paramatma alone. When will the Jiva come to that conclusion that my upayam is Paramatma alone and nobody else? When Lakshmi Kataksham falls on the Jiva. If that one is not feeling that upaya buddhi towards Narayana, that means Lakshmi Kataksham hasn't fallen on that person yet. So, Lakshmi Devi is the Deepam. What is the nature of a Deepam? The nature of a Deepam is that it illuminates things, right? It shows the other person that we are present. It shows us that the other person is present. That is what a lamp does. What is an auspicious lamp? Auspicious lamp not only shows people to each other, but causes auspiciousness. Something good will happen as a result of lighting an auspicious lamp. She is that auspicious lamp because she shows Jiva to Paramatma in such a way that Paramatma does not get angry with the Jiva for all the bad things that the Jiva has done. She also shows Paramatma to the Jiva that you are looking for a solution to your problem. He is the solution to all your problems. Please approach him. In this way, she enlightens the Jiva when her Kataksham falls on a Jiva. So she is that auspicious Deepam who is the mediator between Jiva and Paramatma. She and all the people who are her Anucharas, that means all the Acharyas also, right, who are followers of Lakshmi Devi. They are also doing the same thing. They show the Paramatma to the Jiva, saying he is the Tattva who is told in all the Vedas as a solution to all your problems. So you please take to him, right? Whatever you are looking for, right? Akamo, Sarvakamo va, Mokshakama Udaradhihi, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusha Param, says Shuka Maharshi to Parikshit. That even if you are Akamaha, Sarvakamaha, Mokshakamaha, doesn't matter, right? Mokshakamaha means there are different meanings to this. Akamaha means people may think Akama means not having any desire. Sarvakamaha means having all kinds of desires. Mokshakamaha means people have desire for moksham or attaining Paramatma. This is one way of saying it. Another way of saying it is Mokshakama means those who are Kaivalyarthis, people who want Kaivalyam. Sarvakamaha means people who want Ihaloka Sukhas, people who want Sukhas in this world, all kinds of desires they have got. Akamaha means A denotes Paramatma himself. Aksharanam akarosmi, he says in Bhagavad Gita that I am Akara. So Akamaha means people who desire Narayana alone. So for all three categories of people, there are only three categories. People who have desire only for their selfish liberation, people who want Narayana alone, and people who have all kinds of materialistic desires. They want so many things in this world. No matter which category you belong to, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, with intense devotion, Yajeta Purusha Param. Meditate on that Paratattva alone. This is what Shuka Maharshi tells, right? That he is the solution for all your problems. In this way, Acharyas like Shuka Maharshi, they tell their Shishyas like Parikshit, right? So this is what Acharyas will also show. Similarly, Acharyas will also show the Jiva to Paramatma, that somehow this particular Jiva has come to you. You please accept him, right? Otherwise, where will he go, right? In this way, Acharyas will petition on behalf of the Jiva to Paramatma. They write a recommendation letter. So this is the nature of Acharya Tattva. Kodiye Vitaname. Two more things she is asking for. What are they? A flag is the first thing that she is asking. Right? What does flag do? What is that flag? He is Garuda Dhvajaha. Garuda is that flag. What is Garuda? Garuda means the Veda itself. Vedas means all the suktis that are told in the Vedas, the Sri Suktis given by our Acharyas, which explain the nature of Paramatma. This is what the flag is. In other words, the knowledge contained in the Vedas is another thing that she is asking for. So far, what has she asked for? She has asked for the conch, which is talking about Sheshatva Jnanam. She has asked for drums, which is talking about Paratantriya Jnanam. She has asked for Bhagavata Sahavasam. That is the third thing that she has asked for. The fourth thing that she has asked for is flags. Sorry, did I miss anything? I might have. Auspicious lamp. She is asking for Lakshmi Kataksham or Acharya Kataksham. Then she is asking for a flag. In other words, the knowledge in all the scriptures about Paramatma, which explain the nature of Paramatma, right? That knowledge she is asking for. And the nature of Garuda is also, Garuda indicates Sarvavidha Kainkaryam to Paramatma, right? Just like Ananta, Garuda is also someone who is always willing to serve Paramatma. Wherever Paramatma wants to go, he becomes the vehicle, right? So in other words, this is also indicating Bhagavat Kainkaryam, the flag, right? So those are the things that she is asking for. Then canopy or Chandini, the umbrella. What is the purpose of an umbrella? Let's say you decorate yourself very, very beautifully and you go out and rain falls on you or snow falls on you. What will happen to your makeup? All of that will get erased. After decorating ourselves with so many good qualities for the sake of Paramatma, if there is one thing that falls on us, all of those good qualities will get eliminated. What is that? Bhoktrutva, the nature of Bhoktrutva Buddhi. Bhoktrutva Buddhi. In other words, the tendency to enjoy everything, including Paramatma. So that Bhoktrutva Buddhi should be eliminated from us completely. So holding the canopy is nothing but eliminating that Bhoktrutva Buddhi, from preventing it from falling on us, so that our Atma Gunas are protected, right? So these are all the things that she is asking from Paramatma, right? These are the 6 things that she is asking for. Now, in other words, once again, I want to summarize what are the 6 things she is asking. Conch is indicating Sheshatva Jnanam. Drums are indicating Paratantriya Jnanam. The Pallandisai Pare, she is saying Bhagavata Sahavasam, right? That is the third thing. Association of Bhagavatas is the third thing she is asking for. Then fourth thing, Kola Vidakke means she is asking for an auspicious lamp, which is nothing but Mahalakshmi's Kataksham or Acharya Kataksham. That is the fourth thing that she is asking for. Fifth thing that she is asking for is a flag, which is nothing but Bhagavat Kainkaryam and Bhagavata Kainkaryam, and also knowledge contained in the Vedas about Paramatma. The sixth thing is Bhoktrutva Nivritti, right? Prevention of Bhoktrutva Buddhi from falling on us, falling in our minds, right? These are the 6 things that she is asking for as instruments for performing that vratam, or as instruments for attaining Paramatma. She is asking for these 6 things. Now, Krishna may say, how can I give? These are all impossible things. Don't come and ask me all these things. How can I give? Now she is using another interesting word to indicate Paramatma's nature. Alin ilayai. Why is she saying Alin ilayai? Alin ilayai means someone who is Vatapatrasai. What is the nature of Vatapatrasai? He is someone who has swallowed the entire universe and was lying on a banyan leaf. Is this even possible? For someone to lie on a banyan leaf after swallowing an entire universe? It is impossible. But he is someone who is capable of doing such impossible things. So that is who you are, is what they are reminding Krishna. If you are capable of doing impossible things, yes, Delivering Jiva, who is filled with all kinds of sins, is also an impossible feat. But you are capable of doing impossible things. Therefore, we have come to you, she is saying. And you are also his manivanna. In other words, you have saulabhyam. You have infinite vatsalyam, right? You have all this male, manivanna, she is saying. You have vatsalyam, you have saulabhyam, and you also have aghatita ghatana samarthyam, right? Indicated by this Vadapatrashayi behavior, right? Aghatita ghatana samarthyam means impossible things he is capable of doing. Krishna Avataram, he has done so many impossible things. He has brought dead people back to life. This is an impossible thing, right? Not on one occasion, many occasions. Devaki Devi said, 6 people have come and gone before you. I want all those 6 people back. Wherever they are, please bring them to me. I want to give them milk. This is an impossible thing. She is already an old lady, right? She has to be made a young lady for her to give milk. These people have already taken birth elsewhere. Now they have to be brought from that world to this world. All these impossible things he did. How can he do? Only because he is Paramatma, he can do these things. Even there was a certain Brahmana who lost all his children. They were all dying. He was the one who brought all of them back from Vaikuntha-loka, right? Arjuna searched the entire universe. He couldn't find them anywhere, right? But Krishna knows where they went. So he brought them. In this way, so many impossible feats he has done. Krishna Avataram is filled with such impossible feats. So one such feat, they are saying that you have someone who has swallowed the entire universe, but lying on a banyan leaf as if you don't know anything, like a child, right? So you are capable of doing all kinds of impossible things. Therefore, please give these qualities to us, right? So that we may attain you. In this way, they are trying to ask Paramatma in this beautiful Pasuram. With this, we will try to conclude for today. Andal Emperumanar Jiyar Tiruvadagale Shanam. Jai Sriman Narayan. See if anybody wants to share anything for today.
Jai Srimanarayana Swami. Today's session is like a summary, like you said, of all the things we need to keep in mind.
Yes.
Very beautiful, Swami. Like the Seshatva Jnanam, like, like everything is, whatever you said is what in summary we need to know, but like the drums denoting that I'm not meant for myself, we belong to Narayana alone, or having Bhagavatas around us. Like I know we talked about all these things so far, but today's like it was like a consolidation about everything we need to follow.
Right.
Swami, one question I had was when you talked about the canopy or the umbrella, like you were saying that even if we have a lot of good qualities, we need to make sure we are protected from that bhoktrutva buddhi. No, Swami, can you elaborate a little bit more? Means what is it like? I know bhoktrutva means enjoying something, but how can we stop ourselves from enjoyment? Because sometimes it's hard,
Yes, very good question. So this Bhoktrutva Buddhi is talking about, see, once we have all these good qualities, after we think that I'm meant for Paramatma Sekal and all these things, there is still a last trace of this. Is not even talking about ordinary Bhoktrutva Buddhi that I want to enjoy. It is talking about the last phase of enjoyment where after getting all these things, we experience happiness. But what we have to see is, we have to experience Paramatma's happiness as our happiness. We shouldn't experience that happiness independent of Paramatma, that yes, finally I got moksham. Yes, finally I've accomplished it in this way, right? It is Paramatma's happiness upon seeing us is what we should experience as happiness. So that although we have decorated ourselves with all these Atma Gunas, if that last trace of Bhoktrutva Buddhi is still in us, thinking that all of this is for my happiness, all this setup of attaining moksham is for my happiness, initially we begin like that. The entire process of moksham is described by Shastras as a process that is meant to give you happiness, right? You suffer so much in samsaram, so therefore there is a way to get freedom from this suffering. That is a place called moksham. Moksham is a place of unconstrained happiness. It is a state of unsurpassed happiness, unlimited happiness, unbounded happiness. That is what is a starting point for us. Muktir moksho mahanandaha. In this way it is described. So the moment we say it is mahanandaha, It is not like happiness in this world, which is always constrained, always bounded, always interrupted. Moksha means uninterrupted happiness, right? It is not like after periods of happiness, there'll be some periods of sufferings and again the happiness will come. So moksha means uninterrupted happiness. So in this way, we are motivated. So now we feel that that is something that we want to accomplish. So now after we have practiced all these things, after we have gained all these qualities and all that, the last traces of happiness in us will not necessarily be towards materialistic enjoyments, but we feel that finally I have accomplished moksham and finally I'll be happy. That shouldn't be there. We should see that it is Paramatma's, whatever Paramatma wants to make out of me, after making that out of me, whatever way Paramatma feels happy, seeing Paramatma's happiness, I will become happy. That is the state that is being described here. How will that come? That will also come by his grace alone. It is just a phase that one has to pass through. Just like he is the one who takes us all the way from here till there, he is the one who makes us cross even that phase. Was it helpful, Ramya ji?
It is very clear, Swami.
Adi.
Thank you. That's all, Madin.
That's all.
Adin, can I add to your point?
Yes, Adi. Please, of course. Adi, please.
Ramya Adin's question.
Yes.
What I do here at home is, if I want to make Achyutan do something, it will be like you explained this Mahapralayam, right? A Mahapralayam will happen. Everything will go inside Krishna's stomach. So it will be like total dark and everything. And then again, the world will come up again. We all will come out. That Mahapralayam will happen in our house every time I ask Achyutan to do something. So that including the 10 seconds that he sang today for Male Manivanna, you have no clue how much argument we had. Initially, he thought he would sing with Nappinai Mami. And then I told him, because Nappinai, she just called me a few minutes back before the class, right? So I told him, no, Nappinai Mami is not joining. So it's just you. And then I had to convince him, why I am not singing with him. And like so many, things. And then finally, how I end the conversation is like, Achyutan, if you want to make Kicho Machi happy, do this. So there ends the conversation. So I try to convince, and in when he was little, like I used to tell him, Achyutan, if you want to make Amma happy, do this, Kanna. So I mean, if you want, to make me happy, do this. And then he'll be like, after some point of time, he understood that I will not become happy whatever he does. I will always ask more, right? Whatever he asks, I'm going to, raise the bar and ask him to do more. So he understood, okay, he cannot make me happy. Or if I say, yeah, you have made me happy, if you do this, I'll be more happy, right? So now, then later, when he realized, I used the technique. Achyutan, if you want to make Kichomachi happy, do this. So after like 30 minutes of Mahapralayam and argument, I told him, Achyutan, if you want to make Kichomachi happy, sing Male Manivanna just by yourself, because he wants to hear just your voice. I mean, because like he's just hiding behind me, right? At some point of time, I want him to just be on his own, and all these are wonderful opportunities. When I was talking to Nappinai, I told her that I'm going to ask Achyutan to sing alone, Nappinai, and she said, why? And I'm like, that is why we are bringing up kids, right? See, the very purpose of we bringing up kids is to do this. So if you want to do this, then the Bhoktritva Bhukti that was a very wonderful example. I was thinking about this when you were explaining. So Ramya Adian, you can, I mean, it may work or it may not work, but you can try this. Like if you want to make Kichomachi happy, Srinidhi and Sharvani do this, and I hope they will do it. So that's like the technique that I use here.
We also have many pralayams in our home, audience. I'm totally able to relate to whatever you are saying. Even if I tell like, okay, now sit and do this, then it's like, okay, why? Like, why? So
Why?
ultimately,
Correct.
like whatever you said is the right way to think about this, Adian. Thank you so much for sharing the insights. There is no other better way. Now I realized.
Yeah.
It's not about Amma's happiness or it's not about anything else happiness,
It's all Kichomachi's happiness. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then like one other thing I just thought of mentioning is about the Melaya Saivanakal. Remember when we discussed about the Anganma Nyalathu, the comparison between her Krishna's eyes with Surya and Chandra, like she's repeating the first. So this one can be connected with the second Pasuram, Vayethu Vaalvirgal. In Vayethu Vaalvirgal, she's saying that Seyyadana Seyyom, right? We will not do anything that, that we are not supposed to do. Krishna asks, so when she says Sayyadana Sayyom, who Sayyadana Sayyom? யாரு செய்யாதன நீங்க செய்ய மாட்டேன். அதாவது someone who did not do, you are saying that we will not do those things. Actually, she is listing so many things like neyunnum, palunnum, nakali niradi, mayit எழுதோம். So finally she realizes, see, this list is going like, way, has too many things. So let's just put a stop and say, whatever we are not supposed to do, we will not do.
Yes.
And then Krishna asks, so who sayyadana sayyom? Yaru sayyadana you are not going to do. So she is saying, Melayar sayyadana sayyom. Whatever our elders and acharyas and purvacharyas, whatever they did not do, we will not do. And then here, so now again, like the scene 24 now. From scene 2, we are moving to scene 24. And then now she is saying, I told you what we do not do, right? Now I am telling you what we do. Krishna is asking, so what do you do? Then Melayar Seivanagal Venduvena Ketiyel. So in the second Pasuram, she is establishing what she is not supposed to do. And here, going back to climax, she's saying these are all the things that our elders have done, and we will do that too. So Melayar Seivanagal means, like, as you explained, like whatever our elders did, we do, right? So to reply to Krishna's question, she's saying these are the things we do not do, and these are the things that we do. So that's like, and it's very beautifully explained how you compared, as Ramya Adian said, how you compared the conch, parai, and all those things. And my personal experiences, like the Pallandisai Pare, that again is taken from Periyarvar, because Periyarvar is her acharya, right?
Yes.
So Periyarvar is saying like Pallandu is what, like his first Pasuram was, and in the same Pasuram, like he is explaining that வாழால் பட்டு நின்னீர் உள்ளிரேல் வந்து மண்ணும் மனமும் கொண்மின் கூழால் பட்டு நின்னீர்களை எங்கள் குழுவில் புகுதரட்டும். We will not include anyone like who has the Bhogdrutva Bhukti. So that is what like she is saying. So because like she's saying Melayar Seivanagal and my Acharya Periyarvar is her father and also her Acharya. So she's saying my Acharya has taught me to sing Palland only, and as a group. So she is asking, I also want to sing Palland to you and as a group. So my personal experience is also like when I came here to Minnesota, like so many years back, 2004 is when I came here. There was no temple. There was one church converted mandir here in Minneapolis. So that was the only temple. Like they bought a church and they had Perumal there, right? I do not know anyone. I don't even know Balaji. Even he's a stranger to me, right? So every day I used to sing this only. I don't want anything. I don't want any friends, but just give me Palland se pare. Give me Palland se pare. But if we really like, pray from our heart, like Krishna has answered all my questions. And even the beginning of this Margari, like I said, Palland se pare. Give me a Goshti. And then the same day, Vaishnavi sent this message. Okay, we are having this. We are having this satsang every day. So when as I said, like Arayanda Arul, I'm asking you something. You Arayanda and Arul. If I'm worth, so that's why I replied back to Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi, thank you very much for including me. It's not just us asking Palland Disai Pare. That Palland Goshti should include us, right? I see.
No, it's all Perumal Andal including everybody in her Goshti. That is the fortune. She has decided to bring all of us together this time so that we all can mutually glorify Krishna. That is her mood, and that is what she is trying to do this time. So
yeah. So That's like,
bringing all of us together.
yeah. So this Palla Disipare is like really like, it's very, again, close to my heart with personal experience. So just we all ask for more Palla Disipare in our Goshti.
Absolutely, definitely. Thank you for sharing all these wonderful feelings.
Thank you. Thank you, Adin. Jai Shri Manarayana.
Thank you, Adian. Jai Srimanarayan. Okay. If anybody else wants to share anything, we'll conclude for today then. Thank you all for joining. Tomorrow, please join at our place, Adian.
Oh, for sure, Adin. Dasam Adin. Jai Shri Manarayana.